What if you are keeping in your life something God hates, and you're doing it unconsciously? You're not aware of it. Let's talk again about the topic of idolatry, idols, because idols are like weed. They grow everywhere, they are everywhere, they might be growing in your life without you even realizing, like weed that grows in the gaps of your garden, in the walls, without you even realizing. We said before the idols before God, idolatry in its essence is not only to carve an image of wood or plaster. Idols to God in its essence, it is when a person allows anything or anyone to occupy God's place in their lives. This is idolatry in its essence, when I allow something or someone to take God's place in my life. I've created an idol to me. Let's understand a fact about life. There is in our hearts, within us, there is a podium. And like any other podium, there is the first, second, third, and the other places. And if God is not occupying first place in our lives, then something else or someone else will be there. Every vacuum is required to be filled. If God is not first place in our lives, just as weed that we didn't sow, we didn't intend to have it there, but just as anyone else or someone else that occupies the first place in our hearts will become an idol in our lives. And here's the danger with modern idols. Because when we speak about idolatry, especially in the Christian world, usually they think an image. I don't have images, I got rid of them, I don't have them. But idolatry to God goes beyond a carved image that you have. In this definition of idolatry, which is anything or anyone that occupies God's place in our hearts, we understand that there are many modern idols that are very dangerous because they mask themselves in an attractive way. They are things that at first don't look like an idol. They even seem to be virtues. They are disguised. For example, I'm looking for success. I'm trying to be someone in life to sustain my family. Who will criticize someone who is trying to give the best to their family? But at times, behind the mask of I'm working to give the best to my family, it is an idol called success, an idol called love for money, obsession for proving that you have value by how much money you have in your bank account. By the way, let's talk about this example, which is one of the most clear examples of idolatry in current days, has always been, but even more today, which is covetousness for money. The Bible exposes it in Colossians chapter 3, verse 5, giving a list of sins. The Apostle Paul says covetousness is idolatry. He's talking to Christians, and he says passion, evil desire, and covetousness, which is idolatry. Pay close attention. Money is not the root of all evil, but love. For money is. Money, on its own, it is a tool, a necessity. All riches and wealth was created by God to serve us, but not to become our God. Then you can understand that an idol can be something very good and useful, and I placed it in God's place in my life. So many who say that they believe in God, they made God second in their lives and money first. In reality, they only go to God, or they mainly go to God for what? To make money. When God becomes a means to make money, you made money your God already. And out of the true God, your servant, to reach and make money. And many do it. Again, it is not wrong for you to ask God to help you with financial issues. It is not wrong if you are unemployed and say, God, open a door for me. God is a God who prospers and reaches. He takes pleasure in the prosperity of his servants, as we find it in Psalms. But all of us must be very careful with mammon. Mammon, who Jesus warned us, it is impossible to serve two masters, God and mammon, at the same time. He highlighted mammon as the enemy, as a competitor to God, an idol that gives access to every other idol. We can say that money, it is a very treacherous and dangerous idol, because on the one hand, it is good. Who doesn't want money? Riches make life easier, and here's the danger. It is good, it brings comfort, gives you access to many things, but it can become an idol that leads us to other idols, because many associate reaching other things with money, other things that will bring them happiness. So why people pursue money? Because they think, if I have money, then I'll have respect. People will respect me, right? If I have money, I'll have power. Power to influence, to purchase things. I'll have some status. Money is an idol that leads you to other idols, idols of status. How many they chase after status, power, admiration, respect of others as an idol? How many, through money, look for pleasure, whether sexual or traveling or having things? They buy without having any need for it. They show off, but they don't need it. Why? Because that purchase that they bought, they attribute happiness to it. It is from that brand, and they need to show. Because when someone spends money with something big, they will not keep to themselves. Usually, they will not spend and keep it to themselves. If that is the result of idolatry or something that brings them personal value, they want to show that they purchased it. So it becomes an idol, and so on and so forth. So money is a bridge that a person can cross to reach the place that they want. If I have money, I'll have beauty, I'll do surgeries, I'll have the trends in clothes, I'll have the best of this or that. So money, it is a great idol that people are falling for it, bowing to it and serving it even more than God, and making God a bridge to reach money. So idolatry in modern days is way more subtle than it used to be. Of course, we still find idolatry of images, idols on a wall. Unfortunately, I was one of these idolaters that didn't know how to differentiate anything in life, and I had idols created by men's hands that I call them saints. They will help me, they will pray for me, they will intercede for me. I didn't know the Bible. I suggest any person who still keeps idols of clay, stone, plaster in your life, I suggest them to read the Bible. Idolatry is condemned from Genesis to Revelation. You only need to read the Bible, the Ten Commandments. You don't need to go far. See how many times God condemns and says that He hates idolatry. As I said in the beginning, the person keeps in their lives something that God hates. So we have this idolatry until today because people don't read the Word of God, or they don't read to understand it. They read in a religious way, not with intelligent faith. And that's why they suffer, because they lack understanding. But modern idols are more subtle and hard to detect. If you don't understand, the idol can be anything or anyone that you allow to occupy the first place in your life. There you will commit your effort, your attention, your resources, and if anything touches that, this is a great sign, by the way, if something touches it, touches that idol of yours, woe to the person who did. Woe to the one who touches your idol. If they criticize it, if they say that you are wrong, that you should do something about it, that this is taking too much time of your life, woe to those who criticize them. Woe to those who try to remove it. It is easier to remove a bone from the mouth of a pit bull than an idol from the life of a person. Think about it. And I'll conclude with this reflection about these idols that are not made of wood or stone. Ezekiel chapter 14 verses 2 and 3, God spoke to the prophet, and the prophet wrote, "And the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, these men," speaking of men who he was dealing with, "these men have set up their idols in their hearts." You can set up idols in your heart. It is here. These men have set up their idols in their hearts. They don't have an image on their wall, but there are images in their hearts. Vanities fixated in their souls that they go after, and they call this idol, "It is my dream. My dream." My dream has always been, be careful, because an idol at times comes with the name of my dream. We'll keep dealing with this topic. I know it's a delicate topic. I know that some will not listen to me anymore because I'm touching their idols, but I'm not here to please you. I'm here to help you. And if you want our help, if you want to listen to the Word of God about it, this topic that is so close to God's heart, so keep listening. But if you are upset because I'm telling you the truth, may God bless you, and good luck, because you will need it. If today's video helped you and you know someone that could benefit from it, share it with them, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you may do so now. See you later.